Hi, Stacy McCain, here at Harvard University, where we're interviewing Emily Hall of the Network of Enlightened Women. How you doing?
Doing well. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, you're a senior at Harvard.
I am.
And you're majoring in government.
Yes.
And what are your postgraduate plans?
Currently applying to law school, so I'm planning on going to law school and becoming a litigator.
A litigator. And do you have any future ambitions as maybe finally the first woman president of the United States?
You never know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm 21, we'll see.
Okay, well, we've got a few years before then. But we were talking about the climate on campus for conservatives. What is it like to be a conservative at Harvard?
Alienating. I think the first thing that happened when I came here was that I realized that being a conservative at Harvard and going to a Harvard Republican Club meeting would be something that got me stares or criticism from my roommates or something along those lines, that I could not be openly conservative without facing backlash from my peers.
Okay, so you experience backlash from your peers merely because you're not a liberal.
Right, exactly.
And is there a phenomenon of closet conservatives? Are conservatives afraid to speak up for that reason?
Absolutely. I think what I've found over the last 3+ years here is that there is a large constituency of conservatives. I mean, it's not that large, it's still Harvard, but there is a significant conservative constituency that may come to an occasional meeting, may go to an occasional speech, but will not openly tell their friends that they are conservative because they're afraid that they'll lose them.
You could actually lose friends over politics.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm lucky and I have liberal friends who are very open to being friends with a conservative. I've found people all across the political spectrum who don't base friendship on politics, which is, I think, as it should be. But there are a large number of people on this campus who say that they don't feel safe around conservative perspectives and they can't perform the mental exercise of being friends with someone who disagrees with them politically.
Are they triggered?
I think they are.
Is it a microaggression? This language, this idea that speech is so harmful, speech is violence.
Yes.
Do you encounter that?
Absolutely. I think that's something we've seen, especially this week. There was a debate on immigration, and I think I wasn't able to attend, but I think that what we found was that the presence of a debate was what triggered a number of other events on campus surrounding the DACA decision. And the debate was actually scheduled prior to that. It was simply supposed to be a debate on immigration policy. It was supposed to be an open space for people to disagree, to air their opinions, and to let it be an open space for people to talk about their disagreements and work them through and maybe find some kind of bipartisanship there. But instead, it became hyper-politicized when other groups organized protests just before the event. And I think it's something that was intended to be a bipartisan thing that could bring people together. And the hyper-politicization of speech on campus has made it into something that instead became really combative and hostile.
So people get angry.
Yes.
Whenever even just the idea of a debate triggers them. It's a microaggression.
Absolutely. People don't want things to be up for debate that simply are in the real world. And I think it's really doing a disservice to liberal students that they are not forced to engage with the other side. I think I'm so much stronger, so much more able to articulate myself and just to think through every position that I have, because so many of those positions have been challenged here, where it's actually not helping liberals that they have these safe spaces where they don't have to engage and where they are such a super majority, especially when it comes to those who are vocal, that they don't have the ability to defend what they believe because they've never been forced to.
The Network of Enlightened Women, you were saying earlier this week y'all were tabling. They have the thing to where all the women's, they put you in with the women's groups.
They did. We are a political women's group, so I guess we could fit in the women's initiatives. But yeah, last Friday I was tabling for the Network of Enlightened Women, and we were placed in the big line of women's initiatives along with all the other liberal feminist women's organizations. And I think that what I really saw there was that, well, one, before we founded New here back in spring of 2016, there was no fighting back among women on campus. There was no singular movement by a women's group saying, hey, we're not all the same. We don't all believe exactly the same thing, and we can think for ourselves, and we can make our own political decisions based on what we believe rather than what we look like.
Yeah, and this this presence on campus, about how many women are involved in your organization?
So we're still growing. We probably have about 20 active members, and then we also have a number that we're trying to kind of coax in. They're on our mailing list, but we can't get them to come to meetings yet, but we're working on that.
And you've got the Harvard Republican Club. You're also on the board of that, right?
I am. I am the vice president for speakers and political discourse.
Okay, and so the idea that Republicans are trying to keep women down, that's not really in evidence.
I don't think so. Our board is half women. I think we engage quite equally with the men on our board and the men in our club, and I think that people look up to us as leaders, women and men. And I get questions from men all the time that are asking how they can get involved, and that's not because they think that I'm some subpar human being. That's because they look up to me and they see me as just an older student at their university, someone that they want to learn about and someone that they want to learn from.
And you were named National Woman of the Year by the Network of Enlightened Women, is that correct?
I was the Enlightened Woman of the Year.
The Enlightened Woman, and how did you qualify for that?
So I've been involved with New for about 2 years now, and I think that mostly how I've gotten, I guess they say that I deserve that honor. I'm very honored to have received the award. Is just by engaging with the other side. Our chapter here at Harvard also won Chapter of the Year this past summer, so we're very excited about that. And I think it's because I really put a lot of effort into forming our chapter, and then also outside, just into fighting the liberal orthodoxy on campus and beyond. I've done a number of interviews on feminism, and I think I've hopefully represented the new message well.
Okay, and the Trump era. Yeah. Now, I know it was kind of controversial last November that the college Republicans at Harvard did not endorse Donald Trump. But do you feel that Trump's that in terms of his what do I want to say, his, by provoking controversy, it has helped clarify some of the issues? Has it provoked a conversation that y'all can take advantage of?
I think it has. I think that it's really important to see that on our side, my conception of what a pro-women group should be, my conception about what conservatism is having discussions and being able to listen to both sides and make your own decision. I mean, our club did not endorse Trump, but we were able to listen to him. We were able to listen to multiple sides and make our own decision. And as Network of Enlightened Women, we support women being able to listen to multiple sides in politics, in anything really, and just hear people out and then evaluate things on their merits, rather than just shutting things down because of what other people have to say. I think it's so much more valuable for us to go to the speaker, to read the book, rather than just reading the online criticism and saying, oh my gosh, so-and-so says that guy's a racist, so I can't possibly have him on my campus when I don't even need to attend. So I think that the fact that Trump has brought this controversy, and especially controversy in speech, to the forefront, has really emphasized the importance of having free political speech on college campuses especially, and also just in the world at large.
Wow. So the day after Election Day, when the liberals were all in basically grief, they were bringing in grief counselors to help the campus. Were you kind of...
Did they bring in grief counselors here?
I don't know if they brought in outside grief counselors. I know they hosted a lot of safe spaces. I know they had some coloring books.
Coloring books. This is Harvard University, 60,000 a year. The elites that are supposed to lead the world, and the people needed coloring books in order to cope with an election.
That's what happened. I didn't, but some people, I literally have never seen this campus more sorrowful than the day after the 2016 election. And I've been here when students have committed suicide. I've been here for real tragedy that touched individual people due to their knowing someone who passed away. And the campus was more sorrowful after an election that didn't go their way. We saw midterms canceled. And you can't say...
Midterms
were canceled the day after the election. And you can't say that, oh, it's just because it was the day after the election, because the election was scheduled for that date the entire semester. And the midterm was scheduled for that date the entire semester. And they didn't make that decision until just after Donald Trump was elected.
Wow.
Well, maybe the professors couldn't cope more than the students. You ever think of that?
You said something that sounded a lot like what Kent Hafner of the College Republicans had said, that being a conservative on a liberal campus like Harvard is an experience that makes you better. I
cannot agree more. I think that I have not only had opportunities that liberals don't have. I mean, I have the great opportunity to sit down here with you, but I also just have been able to learn to argue better. I've learned to think better, to be honest. I mean, I came to college, I told you I'd been in Catholic school for 14 years, and I loved it, but I wasn't challenged. I mean, it was not a place where anybody argued with me when I said that I'm pro-life. And I came here and everybody challenged that. And I didn't know how to defend myself when I first got here. I was 18 years old and I had never had to say anything, really, other than just like, yeah, of course. And I came here and I had to learn. I had to research what I believed in. I had to look at different issues and think about why I believed it. Like, what is the basement for it? What is my actual policy position? I had to learn everything from the ground up because all I knew was my intuitions. And I learned. But these liberals, they know that their intuition is, oh, I want to help people, or I'm compassionate. And that's great. You can be compassionate. I think I'm a compassionate person. But that doesn't automatically have to translate into a certain political ideology. I think that realistically, both political parties, many members of them have similar goals, but on a liberal campus like this, I'm far more equipped to actually know what I want to do to achieve those goals. I'm far more equipped to know what kind of policies are going to work because I'm forced to look into it.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Emily Hall, and
yeah,
good
absolutely.
luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.